Welcome to Chapter and Concept, where we deconstruct the architecture of ideas one page at a time. In this installment of our architecture series, we're examining the blueprint of the Type 5 personality, the Investigator. And really, this isn't just about a personality type. It's a look inside a carefully constructed fortress, an inner citadel that's been designed piece by piece for psychological protection. To understand any structure, you have to start with its foundation. And for the Type 5, that foundation is built on a really fundamental fear. So let's dig into where this entire blueprint originates. At the very core of a Type 5 is this deep, pervasive dread, the fear of being helpless, incompetent, and just plain incapable. The world can feel so overwhelming, so intrusive, and the fear is that they simply don't have the inner resources to deal with it all. Now, this fear usually doesn't come from nowhere. It often starts in childhood, maybe a time when boundaries felt fuzzy or caregivers were a little too intrusive. So what does the 5 do? They retreat. They pull back into the one place they feel they can control, their own mind. This quote just says it all, doesn't it? Without the clarity of an answer, who is the 5 but a lost wanderer in search of safety? So this foundational fear, it gives rise to the 5's primary passion, this driving force behind their behavior. But we're not talking about a passion for money or material things. Oh no, it's for something much more personal, and in their world, way more valuable. Okay, so the passion here is avarice. But wait, this isn't the kind of greed you're probably thinking of. It's not about hoarding stuff. It's about hoarding and withholding their own personal energy. Let's really unpack what that means. As you can see, there's a huge difference here. Typical greed is all external, piling up possessions, focusing on wealth. But for a 5, the real currency is internal. They live with this kind of scarcity mindset, always worried that their precious inner resources, their time, their focus, their emotional energy, are going to be drained by the demands of the outside world. This image just captures that feeling perfectly, doesn't it? Social interactions for a 5 can feel absolutely exhausting. It's like an invasion of their carefully managed inner world, leaving them feeling totally swamped and just desperate to withdraw and recharge. So how do you fight back against that deep-seated fear of being incapable? Well, if you're a 5, you build. You construct your inner citadel with the bricks and mortar of knowledge and competence. These are the very walls that protect you from that overwhelming world. And this basic desire to be capable and competent, that is the master blueprint for their fortress. The core belief is, if I can just understand the world, then I can defend myself against it. For a 5, knowledge isn't a hobby, it's a survival strategy. And this leads to a really crucial and honestly, a kind of painful point for the 5. Their entire identity gets tangled up in what they know, not who they are. Their self-worth is dangerously tied to their intellectual inventory. As this quote puts it, the defining illusion is, I am what I have. I have the answers. But here's the thing about this inner citadel. Its walls aren't static. They're not impenetrable. There are gates, and these gates can open up, leading to paths of growth and integration, or they can start to crumble, leading to stress and disintegration. What you're looking at here are the 2 primary paths for a Type 5. Those arrows, they represent how a 5 responds to feelings of security versus feelings of stress. It shows how this seemingly rigid personality structure can actually shift pretty dramatically. In health, there's a move toward the assertiveness of Type 8. Under stress, though, they can disintegrate toward the scattered energy of Type 7. And this just illustrates those 2 potentials so brilliantly. When a 5 feels secure and competent, they integrate toward the confident, grounded energy of the 8s. They show up, they share what they know, they engage. But under stress, when they just can't find an answer, they can disintegrate toward the 7, giving up and escaping into distraction and excess, just to numb that mental frustration. So, the big question is, how does a 5 find real peace? How do they move beyond the need for these defensive walls? Well, the path home, the path to silence, is all about letting go. Letting go of that need to know absolutely everything. This is the question. It's profound, it's often painful, but it's the one a 5 has to confront to find any true rest. Who am I if I don't have the answers? To even begin to find out, they have to detach from that constant, exhausting mental churn of analysis. The path home is really a 3-step process. First, detaching from that obsessive need for answers. Second, consenting to silence, making room for quiet. And third, learning to rest in mystery. It's about shifting from detachment, which is pulling away from the world, to non-attachment, which means finding a deeper security not in knowing everything, but in the quiet acceptance of the unknown. As we've explored the inner citadel of the Type 5, it's probably worth asking ourselves, right? What inner walls have you built for protection? That brings this chapter to a close. Thank you for joining us at Chapter and Concept. Join us for the next episode as we continue building the architecture of ideas. Don't forget to subscribe to stay within the foundation.